Ah, yes, Catawal Way, a place where cats roam the streets, bringing delight to all, where the people work together to restore their old forgotten shrines, where anyone can take a break from their busy lives to come and rest at my cafe. A small town where the people come first. At least, that's what it would be if Huckable wasn't sticking their dirty noses in it. A couple weeks ago, I learned that some company named Huckable Acquisitions was looking to snatch up some cheap land in Catterwall to force a little urbanization. If they had it their way, this whole town would just be another suburb of the nearby city. The city I left for a quiet life here. And that's why I knew if I wanted to stand up against Huckable and show them that my store wasn't closing, I was gonna have to expand my cafe. I figured it'd be a nice change of pace to focus on some outdoor seating for once. After all, the cafe was surrounded by these beautiful forests that would make for some great natural scenery. To get started, I knew I was going to need some construction materials to set up a nice stone patio. After all, if I just set up a handful of tables and chairs in the dirt, it'd only be a matter of time before rain made the whole thing a sloppy mess. It only took a couple of days of advertising to punks, who conveniently pay with building materials, before I had enough stones to set up a complete patio. Or, at least, that's what I thought. You see, the next day, after I'd gotten enough fabrics and gems to buy a door to connect the outdoor and indoor seating, I learned that apparently, doors in this town can only be placed on the northern and southern walls. I asked around for a bit, and apparently, according to the local fisherman Boner, it's an old town superstition it is. Town legend says on a full moon's night, spirits from the underworld take a trip around the world. If you have your door in their path, you give them away into your house. You know, I'd be inclined to call you crazy if I wasn't being blackmailed into fixing the local shrine by a talking magic cat. You're what? Nothing. So yeah, local superstitions required a full redesign of the entire floor plan of my outdoor seating. Luckily, I had some materials left over from the initial design, which allowed me to snake a path to the back wall of the dining area. It wasn't pretty, and it looked a lot less clean than I'd initially hoped for, but it was done. Now, it was time for me to actually get some chairs out there. But before I could get a chance to run to the store, I heard a cat's call beckoning me to the shrine. As I entered the clearing, the Grimalkin approached me with a sinister smile. Little one, the shrine is looking much closer to its original splendor. You sure? Wasn't really looking any different from the first time I came here. Externally, maybe not. But the effort of the town, and the care that it has fostered, that is what matters. Whatever you say, Magic Man. Little one, I believe it is time you knew why the shrine is important, and how I knew your grandmother. Oh shit, for real? Finally gonna tell me why you've been making me do all this? Or is this gonna be like last time you answered a question? Oh, it won't be like last time, little one. Long ago, when humans first settled here, they were dedicated to thriving in a changing world. A world of steam engines and smoking chimneys. They were quite prosperous, but none of them were happy. They had lost all their delight in living. It was their initial enemy, the wild cats, who taught them to find delight in the little moments. That's a real fancy way of saying the humans domesticated the cats. No, they were not domesticated. Think of it as us more offering you humans an olive branch. Sure. Anyways, the cats and the humans lived in peace for a time. The humans took care of the cats, domesticated, and the cats brought the humans delight. The humans built this shrine and made many salmon offerings to the cats here to remind themselves of their history. Are you meaning to imply this delight the cats have brought to people is like an actual magical thing? Because otherwise I don't see why they'd be making shrines to their house cats. To call it magic would be too simple. What does that even mean? It means you see life too narrowly. You sound like some shitty wise man in some knockoff karate movie. Perhaps. Still, more cats came to the valley, and soon the settlers named the town Catawal. my protection was no longer needed. Really? 'Cause, Shrine's been looking pretty rough. Yes, little one, it has. At the time, my protection wasn't needed. However, the world is changing again. Humans are forced to spend their time worrying and fretting about all the insecurities placed upon them. Uh-huh. And so, the shrine fell into disrepair, and the cats have had to fend for themselves yet again. I'm sorry to cut you off again, but are you trying to imply that the reason people feel stressed out is because they don't have enough cats? Not necessarily. Though I am saying that with the shrine, they'd be much happier. Look, don't get me wrong. I love cats just as much as the next guy, and having a cat is great. But chalking up all the town's problems to them not taking good enough care of the cats is a bit unrealistic, wouldn't you say? I understand you doubt the power of my shrine, but you should know your grandmother's goal was to bring the town together by restoring the shrine. Really? Because it looked like this hadn't been worked on in years by the time I got here. And her letter was pretty adamant about the cafe being her passion when she handed it down to me. Well, her old age made her work slow. She couldn't see it through to the end, though I have no doubt that she is happy to see you continuing her work, little one. For a moment, I couldn't help but remember my grandmother's smile. It was a smile that could melt your heart, like a sip of hot cocoa as a kid after making a snowman. It was lost in the memory till the Grimalkin spoke again. So, now I must ask you once again, please bring the delight of the cats to the townspeople, and find their aid in restoring the shrine. Alright, Furball. I'll get your shrine done. I place all my hope in you, little one. Little Felix. For the first time since meeting the strange creature, I felt a pang of pride as the Grimalkin turned away. I knew what I had to do. If I wanted to finish that shrine, I was going to need to make my cafe the best damn cat cafe there's ever been. So I spent the next week expanding and improving my seating arrangements, which still don't match. Trust me, there's a reason, and that reason is stats. And expanding my menu. At this point, it was getting a bit expensive to keep the kitchen stocked. Turns out, when your menu consists of more than salad, coffee, and pretzels, it takes quite a few ingredients to keep all the dishes stocked. At this point, I was having to advertise to witches nearly every other day just to keep enough of that sweet, sweet nectar. Lucky for me, though, witches leave more tips the more plants you have in your store, for some reason. So, after buying some trees and a pumpkin for the patio, I started to see the nectar flow. A couple more days went by, and after yet another conversation with Finley about her music, where this time she talked about the pressures of producing something normal rather than personal, and the passion that's lost when making something that doesn't fit your style in an attempt to appease an audience that ultimately isn't your target demographic anyways, Arwell stopped by. Oh, hey, pal. Pal? Sure, pal. What's up? I got a question. Alright, shoot. Let's say you're on a cruise, right? Because you want a ticket for the cruise. And how exactly did I win this ticket? I don't know, maybe you entered some kind of contest? Discovered this dormant skill and one-handedly. Maybe it was a silently closing doors contest. Because come to think of it, I've never noticed you entering a room. Or well, every time you come to this cafe, I'm already here. And every time I go to Gruff's, you're on your phone. I think you not noticing me is more of a testament to you than it is to me. Fair point. Also, who would even hold that kind of contest? Does that sort of thing even exist? Look, it's not important for the hypothetical. Just bear with me. I figured I could humor him for once. Alright, Arwell, continue. So, anyways, you leave your cabin, only to find out the ship is gonna crash. Well, that took a turn. Yeah, well, you're stranded on an island, all by yourself, and I guess what I'm asking is, would you enjoy it? I could see where this was going, and I felt a smile spreading across my face. So, are you asking me if I'd be fine being stranded on an island? Yeah. All alone? Yeah. No food? Yeah. No water? No electricity? Wait, oh, the horror of it all! I could never, I would simply die. And then who would take care of my cats?
Look, man, I was more just asking, you think it's cool to just be by yourself? Yeah, I know. I was just messing with you. In all honesty, I look at socializing as more of like a battery thing. Being around people drains the battery, and being alone charges it. Too much people time will drain all the battery, but if it sits at full for too long, you can damage it, so it's a bit of a balancing act. And, makes sense. Maybe my battery's just broken. Hey, different don't mean broken, man. Yeah, it's just, there's too many chatty people in Caterwall, so I gotta work hard to scare them all off. Mateo's annoyingly fearless, though. Y'all were childhood friends, of course you can't shake him. He knows most of your shticks up front. Yeah, I know. Anyways, you're not so bad, pal. You don't use up my battery all that much. Really? Because I spent most of our interactions either making fun of you or rushing you out of my store. Yeah, but you're real. You are making fun of me. Or you're letting me know when I'm annoying you. Instead of hiding it and being fake, which is what matters. I was genuinely taken aback for a moment. Anyways, I'm starting to run out of power here, okay? Yeah, shut up for a while. Of course, man. I'll get out of your hair. As he left, Arwell handed me a pile of trash. Felt like a slap in the face at the time. Felt like we'd made a genuine connection there, and his response was to give me trash? Little did I know that this trash would lead to the discovery of my favorite part of my cafe. But that's something for a bit later, since a couple days later, when I was serving the usual array of witches, Mateo sauntered in.
Felix, hey, I wanted to talk to you about something, friendo.
Okay, shoot.
It's about that cat shrine you've been renovating. You know, the one with the townspeople's help.
Okay, what about it?
Well, this is a bit tough for me to say, but I want you to stop that.
Okay, I'm hearing you. But have you considered...
No. Okay, listen, it's more like Hockable told me to tell you they told me to tell you that they want me to tell you to stop doing that.
Jesus, just say they wanted you to tell me to stop.
So, the thing is, Hockable has big plans for that particular spot. The design intern happened to draw a business center right there in the future Caterwall concept design.
Let me get this straight. They want to build a business center, and they chose to do it in the location with 4 massive, heavy stone statues in the middle of the woods, miles away from the town itself.
Yes.
Have you, Hockable's design firm, or Hockable's executives ever, and I mean ever, learned anything about city planning?
Hey, friendo, I don't know why I'm on that list. I had no say in where they build the thing, but now my clients are dead set on having a business center. Right there.
Well, it sure is a shame you'll have to tell them they can't build there. It's not like they have permission anyways.
Well, actually, they already bought the land.
They what?
They bought the land the shrine's on.
How? I thought that was like public property, like a historical site or something. Isn't buying and selling that kind of land illegal?
No?
The fuck you mean no?
Look, buddy, friendo, pal, it's all complicated. Can we just change the subject for a bit?
No! Do you know how hard I've worked to build up this cafe and to restore that damn shrine? Y'all ain't gonna take that shit away from me. Get the hell out of my store and tell your little buddies at Hockable I said they can go ahead and fuck off. Mateo's face sunk as I kicked him out of the store. I could feel my blood boiling. Spent nearly 2 months fixing up that shrine. Now that rat was telling me his business partners were just gonna throw it all away. Would breaking the shrines redo all the magic restrictions on my cafe? Would it signal the beginning of the end for Caterwall? I didn't have time for questions. I needed to find that damn cat. As I entered the shrine's clearing though, I saw it was completely empty. Grimalkin? Where are you, you furry demon thing? We need to talk. At first, I didn't hear anything, but then I heard the leaves around me start to rustle. I expected to see the Grimalkin appear from the trees, but instead, I saw as Finley, Carla, and Arwell burst into the clearing.
Felix, we've been looking all over for you.
Really?
Yes, we have. Thank goodness, Arwell. It looks like that friend find potion I had you drink actually worked.
Wait, friend find what? Y'all know the only places I ever go are my cafe, your stores, and this shrine. Why would you waste stuff on a potion? Because at that point, I noticed that Arwell was looking a little worse for wear. Carla, was that potion safe to drink?
Oh, of course. I make sure every potion I make is 100% human safe. Isn't that right, Arwell? I need to go find a bush to throw up behind.
That's just a small side effect. It'll wear off soon. He's fine.
You sure as hell don't look fine. Guys, now's not the time. Felix, it's Huckaball, that big company buying up town.
I'm familiar.
They're gathering a small army of bulldozers and interior designers at their staging ground.
Oh, shit. I fear they're going to destroy the shrine, dear.
Like, right now?
Well, no. They need more time to prepare. But it could happen any day now.
Well, that's just great. I know, right? Couldn't they find a better spot to build their whack-ass business center?
I know! I told Mateo this was a horrible space to set up shop. But he said his partners just wouldn't listen.
Well, what do we do now, Felix? We can't just let the town's hard work on the shrine go to waste.
For a while, I stood there in stunned silence. What could we do? We were 4 nobodies, and they had a whole army of rich businessmen that could just buy their way out of any trouble we caused. There's just another group of bugs on their windshield, not even worth the effort to wipe off. I guess all we can do is finish restoring it. Maybe we can get some sort of protection once it's done, like get it marked as a historical site or something? I could tell the defeat in my voice was obvious. Still, Carla put on a brave face. I hope that seeing the fully finished shrine will make them see reason then.
Yeah. Even if they do destroy it, we'll know what we've accomplished, right? Yeah. And everyone help fix the place up. Lullaby Corp could take that away.
It was nice to see their reinvigorated spirits, but I knew the hard part fell to me. I was going to have to complete the shrine. But first, that night when I got home, I found what Arwell's trash had lured in.
Mingus! That's right, we got Mingus, baby! He was so great and amazing and adorable and perfect that I really just needed to break the flow of this video to show him to you. He's great. I've always wanted a pet raccoon, and he's Mingus! Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah, finishing the shrine. I knew that if I wanted to finish fixing the shrine, I was going to have to work my butt off. I spent day after day bringing in as many customers as I could, running full house operations from sunup to sundown. With each passing day, I completed more and more projects, but it wasn't fast enough. I knew if I wanted to raise enough delight to save the shrine, I was going to have to spread my cat's loves across the town. I started to rehome and give away a few of my furry friends, so that my cats weren't just a cafe luxury. Not all of my cats left, but I felt tears form in my eyes as I said goodbye to Skrunkle. He was the first one, the cat that had been with me from the very beginning, and now he was gone, off to live a comfortable life amongst his new family. But it all proved to be worth it. With the burst of delight from the adoptions, I was able to finish restoring the shrine. To my surprise, for once, the shrine actually looked as if it had been cleared. Where there was once moss and leaves, smooth stone shone in the sun. That evening, after closing up shop, I decided it was time to head out and admire my handiwork. It was hard work, took a ton of off-screen help, but damn it, I was proud of my shrine. As I approached, though, I noticed some of my friends were standing there. Brilliant! I can't believe we pulled it off. The shrine looks about as old as me.
Yes, I feel a strong sense of gratitude from the statues. Or, I would if I could talk to statues, which I cannot.
I'm still worried about Huckable, though. Wonder when they'll get here.
Let's not think about that.
That's gonna be a little hard because, you guys, they got here. Rats.
Arwell, who was apparently keeping watch despite being part of the previous conversation, dashed into the clearing.
Squawkable's right outside. I ain't gonna let him step foot in here. Ready to rumble, boner? I ain't one for rumbling, but I can yell real loud for you.
Hey, what about me? I guarantee I can throw a better punch than you can, Arwell.
Well, I figured you were, implied.
What about Finley? Not gonna ask her?
Well, she's a grown woman. She can make that decision herself.
And Boner can't make that decision without your permission? Arwell was flustered, but before he could answer, a megaphone voice thundered through the woods, cutting him off. This is Huckable Acquisitions Caterwall Development Director. We order you to evacuate our premises. We're ready to bulldoze. The man started to mutter something into his headset. What's that? Oh yes, slowly. Huckable carrying you into the nest of the future.
Looks like this might be the end of the road. Do we go down guns blazing?
Yeah, you can charge that thing if you want. Throw a single punch and I'm fairly sure they can fight back legally. I think. Let's just not leave. It's not like they can bulldoze the site if we're on it. They definitely could, but I doubted this company wanted to deal with that backlash.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea, dear. Well, we had something to eat. It'd be like a little picnic.
I, made sandwiches. Happened by accident. Real convenient accident you got there, Arwell. As we started to sit down, though, we heard the roaring of engines as they came to life.
All right, we're moving our bulldozers, whether you have vacated the lot or not.
As the rumbling machines approached, the 5 of us held firm. We knew we couldn't stop the gigantic devices, but maybe, just maybe, our last stand would make them see the errors of their ways. At least, that's what we were hoping would happen. In actuality, what stopped them was none other than Mateo.
Not so fast, cretin.
It's quite the heroic entrance. Now, of course, he immediately ruined said entrance by talking to Siri, but that's beside the point.
Excuse me, but that's my megaphone. And Mr. Mateo, doesn't your company support this plan?
Silence, cretin!
You know, I have feelings too. And I'm sorry. But anyways, I did in fact want progress for Catawal, whatever that means. But Felix and Felix's felines cats made me realize that shouldn't be at the cost of what makes Catawal, well, Catawal.
Took you long enough.
And I'm not the only one. Gather round, y'all.
In that instance, a mob of my customers poured into the clearing, yelling out in protest.
You know, my friend Felix pointed out that your buying up of this land seemed a little legally dubious, so I took the liberty of looking into your little hawkish acquisition of this plot of land. It seemed perfectly legal until Siri set a 3-second timer for dramatic effect.
I can't with this guy.
I can't stand him either, but he's saving our asses, so keep your voice down. Until I got help from Gavin, our town's librarian.
Isn't that Boner's husband?
Hi, Boner. Proud of you, sweetheart.
Yep, definitely his husband. I imagine he'd be taller.
Yeah, we dug through some of the old public records, and it turns out the land was owned by a Miss Grimm, and her will states that upon her death, the shrine should be bestowed upon the upstanding members of this town.
Wait, so does that mean that it is public land? And that means they can't buy it.
Exactly, meaning no dozering today. Oh man, but I like the dozering.
And that, my friends, is the story of me and my cat cafe. As the dozers drove away, the people of Catawal rejoiced, meeting at the cafe for a nice celebration. In the years that followed, I continued to run my store and to care for the shrine. And though Huckable continued to buy up stores here and there, they never quite got the footing they hoped for in this town. I guess all I have left to say is thank you. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. I truly couldn't have done it without you. Until our next adventure, good night, farewell, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And to check me out over on twitch.tv and like Felix_fighter, link in the description. It's a lot of fun.